Welcome back, everyone, to yet another DF Retro Let's Play. And we are revisiting the game that we covered last year, but we thought we'd do it justice. Yes, this is Bubsy. In fact, this is Super Bubsy, the extremely rare PC version of the game. We finally got it running well.
1 year later.
And of course, Audi's here. Because he is the Bubsy master. This is going to be a Bubsy super play, if you will, because he knows his Bubsy.
It's a Super Bubsy super play.
So let's go ahead and click play a while. And so first of all, the thing about this game is that this is running on a Pentium 3 PC, but there's so much more to it than that, as we discovered. Basically, it's very finicky about the exact video card you use and the exact driver you use. So this is, as you see, it's developed by ATI. Yeah. I actually have an ATI Rage Pro video card in there right now because it's the only video card of the 12 or so that I tried that actually runs this correctly.
When we made the episode last year, we were trying for at least 3 days to get this to run at a decent frame rate or a consistent one.
We couldn't get that. We couldn't get there. If you go back and look at the Bubsy episode, the footage doesn't look very smooth. That's why.
Not at all.
But we finally figured it out. It took an ATI card in this machine with an older driver, pre-2000. With that, it actually works.
It's like a 95 driver now.
No. This is the Rage Pro didn't come out until like 98, maybe 97, 98. It was, it was at that point.
Yeah. So we'll start here then.
So so we're actually getting some good capture of this. I think this might be the only like perfect capture of the game on the internet.
Yeah,
or one of the only ones.
I should mention that this copy is the same one I've had since release, and I've never played it because no computer I've ever had in my life.
It does not work well on a modern PC at all. Oh, I mean, if it runs, it's very choppy. It just doesn't work right.
Even on my old computer, I forget what my first computer was, but yeah, it didn't work properly on that either. So yeah, as you can see here, it's pretty similar to the console versions that we talked about in our episode.
The difference is that a lot of the art was redrawn, and if you compare it, you see that it was really redrawn. And this is curious because
so this is actually the original art assets, pretty much uncompressed, so to speak. It's not so pixelized.
Well, I think if this was the original art, then I'd say they probably had to convert that art into something usable on those systems, perhaps, which is why. So it does look pretty different.
It looks different, but you can see the animation keyframes. Those are the same.
It's the same.
It's a little bit more fluid.
But that's what really makes this port unique. So this is an interesting time. This was, this was pretty late in that cycle, but around 94, I guess you could say 95, is when we started seeing more console games brought to the PC.
Oh yeah.
Sega was doing it. Activision did it with Pitfall and Earthworm Jim. The thing is a lot of them. First of all, most of them were brought over with original artwork. Sometimes it was touched up with more colors, but it was always at the same resolution as a console game, which was fine. And PCs at that day, 486s especially, they weren't really well suited to fast scrolling. Even with a good Visa local bus card, it was tricky to do, especially in high res. So you can see a lot. But over time, we saw stuff like Captain Claw and other games that actually embraced the high resolution.
I can't believe you mentioned Captain Claw. I haven't thought about that game. Oh wow.
So this game is unique in that it is a game where all the art is basically redrawn in high resolution. And I hate that right there.
Yeah, the fact that it tricks you into that.
Yeah.
That fall. You notice here too that the voice samples are.
There's voice samples. The voice samples themselves are very clear.
Yeah.
The text, the UI, everything is redone in high resolution.
The voice of Bubsy in this game is Michael Scott, who actually met at GDC last year.
Not of Dunder Mifflin.
No.
Yes, this is the original Michael Scott, and yeah, man, it's really. I love seeing this, especially here on the CRT.
Look at the water,
it just
how
looks
it flows.
So good. So
there was
crisp.
a screen turn there. Did you see that?
Yeah, I have noticed that.
Of course you did. It's stupid of me to ask John Linneman if he knows this screen turn.
I wonder. See, this brings. So let me talk again about the issues with performance and other video cards. Essentially, for whatever reason, this game just decides to run either at like equivalent of 15 or 30 frames per second on other
Something
cards.
like that, yeah.
Or if it does approach a higher frame rate with a certain driver, it ends up just being very jittery. So there's something about the way they're drawing the graphics within this is like a Windows 95, 98 game. However they're drawing these 2D graphics, they're doing something unusual that's not really very compatible. Like, this was not sold as just an ATI game, by the way.
No.
This was actually sold in a box, and I'm sure that there has to be other cards out there that can run this well. Or, I mean, maybe they did just sell it like, hey, you get 30 FPS on this card for some reason.
It could be. But I couldn't even run it on my old computer. So there's major incompatibilities for this game.
And not only that, like when you have the wrong graphics card for it, everything gets slower. Like the loading is slower, and the whole thing is unresponsive, and it's really unusual. And these days, the idea of like a port of a game being developed specifically by one of the graphics cards makers, that seems insane. And the fact that it doesn't actually work on anything other than, and again, it probably does on some, right? But I tried.
There's so many back then. That's the thing.
I tried my various NVIDIA graphics cards, and it's bad on all of them.
Yeah. We tried them
on
on so many cards.
One of them gets close to being 60, but it still has jutter, so it doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Of course, I tried some S3 cards. There's something. I tried a Matrox Millennium 2, which has really excellent 2D performance, and that also did not work well. A couple others as well that I can't recall. And it's just, the results were never great. But this ATI Rage card, I was like, you know what, I should stick that in and see what happens, and sure enough, it ends up running just like this.
It's kind of fitting though, because if you think about it, John, last year, February, we met to make the Bubsy episode. So this is kind of 1 year later.
And we solved the problem.
That was me becoming a regular on your show.
That's right, that was the beginning. That was the beginning. The beginning of the end.
Yeah, it truly was.
Look at that piano walking down the steps.
There's a lot of things.
I love that.
There's a lot of things in this game. So, Super Bubsy, one of the other things, so the new graphics, or rather the uncompressed graphics, isn't the only thing. You might have noticed here, I don't know if you saw, but I've been picking up these television screens.
Yeah.
And by picking those up, at the end of the third level, if I pick up everything, I get about 5 minutes of a cartoon. So this is the actual fabled cartoon. If you look at the Sega Mega Drive box or Genesis, it says "Catch Me on TV" for the Saturday morning special.
And we talked about this show in the episode.
Yes, we did, and
it's included here.
It is actually on the disc. You can watch the whole thing. So this was the reason I bought the game, because I lived in Europe. I didn't get to see that Saturday morning special. This was the only way I could see it.
But I'm fairly certain that it's literally just an AVI file on the CD.
It is, yeah, it's several.
So yeah, they broke it up so that you're supposed to earn it in game, but technically, okay,
I'm talking at the same time.
I know it's unusual to see.
I'm just thinking about a cartoon
in Bubsy.
Yeah, I've been running through it so many times the last year since I surfaced again to this earth. And
now, if this was Bubsy for the Atari Jaguar, I might understand, because that game is nearly impossible. It's so badly designed.
Yeah, so the medallion here at the end is also new, because in the console version it's a big cotton ball.
And that looks like a sort of a bump map graphic that they created in a rendering program back then.
So yeah, it's
like Alias Power Animator or something.
This is the first time I'm actually playing this version of the game, and I mean, it's similar enough that I'm not doing that bad. I'm using the Gravis pad.
That's right, the fabled Gravis gamepad.
Because we're doing it right.
You know, you have to do it that way. So, it works, but there's no way to configure the buttons, so you do have. So it is a slightly odd configuration.
Yeah, that's what's throwing me off sometimes. You can see sometimes I'm kind of stuttering in my movement because I'm so used to moving my thumb in a certain way with this game.
This really looks...
My Bubsy techniques are off.
So crisp and nice. And
I know, right?
It's interesting, though, because a lot of games from the 16-bit, 8-bit eras, you know, especially Japanese games, like you can tell that the art was designed with those resolutions in mind from the beginning. You know, it's very clearly like pixel art designed for the low res. And blowing it up to 640 by 480, if they were to redraw it, they'd have to take a new approach to it. Whereas you look at Bubsy on the 16-bit systems, and you kind of get the impression that it was always intended to be higher res like this, or at least that the tiles and sprites were not necessarily originally designed within the confines of the lower resolution, right? Like it it doesn't have that same look. This somehow just looks more correct. And it's unusual to see a game like this in high res. So yeah, I keep talking about it just because it's a strange thing to see, and I'm really happy to see this running well for once.
Notice that chicken actually runs pretty smoothly in the console versions. Here though, it's all choppy.
They update like every other frame or something.
Something like that. A bridge to fur. Them puns never get old.
The loading between deaths is really serious in this too.
I mean,
so technically I could probably like rip the disc and play it from the hard drive, but we're doing it correctly.
We're doing it with an original copy.
And like many Windows 95 games back then, this is not a game that really installs itself. It runs from the CD, and it just puts a configuration file on the hard drive pretty much. And that's about it. Everything else is straight off the disc. And the soundtrack was replaced with MIDI, which is actually also the case with something like, say, the Sonic and Knuckles collection and Comic Zone.
Oh no!
Which is not a great version, because that was made for Windows 3.1 and it runs at 30 frames per second. So it's not very smooth. Now, the Echo the Dolphin port is actually an interesting one because it actually shares elements with like this, where it runs in high res. No, were they always choppy like this?
No. So again, this is like our assets that just don't have any.
So they just like run them in a slow. It's like, oh man, it's like a quarter rate or something. It's it's very strange looking.
Also, there's 2 volleys in each yarn ball. In the console version, only 1.
Well, they had, you know,
double
four times the pixels.
That's right. Oh, okay. So, yes, it actually makes these bosses a little bit awkward, I have to say. But yeah, you see this is smooth as well, this animation.
Is that faster than normal?
Yeah, because there's more frames. So it just looks... I think it has 3 frames on the console.
What a strange conversion.
So let's see if I got the cartoon now.
Let's find out. Fleas really... Oh. I mean, the loading screens, man, they really went too far.
Oh, no, okay. Well,
fair
I think
condition.
It's better that I didn't.
Oh, there he goes. Knocking on the screen. Okay. Wow, I've never seen this level in high res because I never played far enough to see it. This looks great.
Yeah.
I love that purple hue in the background.
Told you would like Bubsy in the end.
Well, it happened. Mainly just this Bubsy.
Super Bubsy. You feel that's the ultimate Bubsy?
Well, Super Bubsy and Bubsy 1 are okay platformers.
They're absolutely okay platformers. I would say that Bubsy on the SNES and Mega Drive are quite good. There's worse. I mean, you can go play Green Dog and come back and...
There's plenty of worse ones. I mean, Chuck Rock.
See, why? Chuck Rock is a completely, perfectly fine platformer. I have no idea why you hate that game. Especially for a person that likes PO.
Is it on the Master System? Feels like that's the place for it.
No, I don't know about that. I only played Chuck Rock on Amiga, as it should be played.
I'll also admit that this is significantly better than Wonder Dog.
Oh yeah, well, most things are better than Wonder Dog.
But this is not better than Air the Acrobat. You can't change my mind on that.
Yes, I can, because it's not that good. I mean, it's
better
okay.
than this.
No, it's not better.
It is totally better than this.
What are you talking about?
Air is great.
I always enjoy the fact that he can raise his hands in that little rocket.
That is cute.
It is cute. It's completely pointless. I mean, I guess you can reach some more yarn bolts, but... yeah.
This Bubsy sprite is really nice.
Yes.
Man, imagine if they had done Super Bubsy too.
Yeah, that would still have been an awful game.
Choppy.
Yeah, the eggs are choppy.
It's weird. I really want to know more about how this was coded or why it was coded this way. Like, what are they doing? So again, scrolling an image, a 640 by 480 image at 60 frames per second back then, it's still not the easiest thing in the world.
Nope.
So, you know, it depends on the graphics card, obviously.
Getting my way through this level here.
The parallax background looked really great there with like the sort of lights like along the below the tree line.
Yeah. Yeah, I love seeing the art showcased in this way.
It's really a lovely looking version of the game. Bubsy will be back in just a meow minute. Oh, Jesus. You really can't stop.
Good old Bubsy.
Look at
The
that.
Night of the Bobcat. Yeah, so here you can. Yeah, so this.
See that? That is. Oh.
I'll wake up and start yarning.
Yes. Yes.
All right, so let's.
Oh, he puts on the
ride
goggles.
it.
Get his hands up.
Woo, see, this is a form of interactivity most games didn't have back then. You couldn't ride a roller coaster in Batman. I guess you could in Batman and Robin on Super
You
Nintendo.
could also ride a roller coaster in Tiny Toon Adventures 2, Montana Land or whatever.
Right. Oh no, I think you're thinking of Montana's Madness or something on the Game Boy.
No. I'm thinking of the NES game.
Right, but what's that called?
They called it like Wacky Land, but it was
Wacky
actually like
Land.
Montana Land in Japan or something.
Oh, I see.
But where it's basically a bunch of mini games, but including auto scroll levels on like a roller coaster.
Do you remember the fact that there was a third Tiny Toons games on NES? There was the Cartoon Workshop.
Oh,
Tiny
the cartoon,
Toons.
borderline a game, but
Whoa.
yes, it's a release with Tiny
release.
Toons.
It's just most people don't remember that one. I guess most people didn't have it.
It is bizarre how that series specifically. It seems like they would do a game and then they would follow it up with a sports game.
Yes.
Except for on Game Boy, where the second game was actually another good platformer. But then I think they did a sports game after that.
Wacky Sports on
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, which is a good multiplayer game.
Look at that dude.
Yeah. That's great artwork on this game. Some parallax scrolling in the background there.
Yeah, and it's a 256 color game. And you have that sort of 640 by 480 dithering, where if you look closely at the pattern, it makes me think of PC98 games.
Yes.
That was actually
Bubsy on PC98.
would scroll at about 10 FPS.
Oh, man.
Checking disc
The
volume.
momentum on this game is different from the console. I'm used to the trajectory from the console games.
Yeah, it is. It's strange how it does seem to be slightly altered.
It's a little bit slower than the console games in general, how you bounce off the enemies and stuff. I'm just making up excuses while I'm dying, so I can keep my World Heavyweight title.
I wonder how many people that have ever played Bubsy, especially those that like loaded it up in an emulator later, actually saw anything beyond the first stage. I feel like what happens when most people play Bubsy is start the first stage, very rapidly die from falling,
Right.
and then turn it off.
So here we come to this bonus stage again, if you remember.
Oh yeah. It's a nice multi-layer differential scrolling background right there.
Mhm.
That's good.
This game is
Dithered
a technical
waterfall.
showpiece.
Dithered waterfall.
That's right.
Yeah, that dithering is very PC98. I like that.
Eventually we will get the PC98 episode going with my... I have to get it out of storage.
Yeah, we need to examine the world of PC98, which is a very a different place.
It is. It's one that I've been part of for many, many years. So it'll be fun to finally get that out to people.
We can show some of the games on the
yeah.
channel. Maybe not all.
Not all. There's some, yeah, where you have to be a little bit fine with the editing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no, I used to work a lot with the PC98 preservation community, so
No, there's some neat stuff on there. It's a
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
unique platform, and it was, you know, during that period, things were very different, I'd say.
almost
Japan.
yeah, the contrast is quite interesting between them. So yeah,
The IBM PC was taking off in North America, and the NEC PC
this just turned into the PC98 episode featuring Bubsy.
featuring All your favorite things.
All my favorite
Now we
things
just need
into
to talk
one.
about the CDI.
Oh no, 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 no more CDI. I can't. You ruined one Christmas, John.
Oh, wow.
Bubsy on the CDI never happened.
I don't think it could run on the CDI.
No, we'd have to scroll.
Exactly. It could be a screen-by-screen game like
Yes.
Flashback. And it could be displayed.
Even Flashback doesn't run that great on the
No,
CDI.
it does not.
Though.
And it's in a small window.
Yeah. Some people claim it's the best version. I need to look
That's
into
one of
that.
those things where I think people that have not experienced it, like it's because it's such an uncommon.
So here you can see it was a bug where he got trapped there and I couldn't jump forward. So, but we saved ourselves. So just taking it slow. Bubsy's like Sonic. I think a lot of people make the mistake that because you can't go fast, you go fast. But you gotta take your time and die.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you do, you die.
I mean, the old Sonic games are kind of like that. You can get up momentum, and when you get used to it, you can really roll through enemies, but
Sure.
you still need to take your time with a lot of the delicate platforming. This one is, you really can never get up to full speed because you don't have that offensive maneuver. The Sonic has the roll.
Yeah, I
You
think
just press down, you goes into the roll, and you take out enemies, where this, it's like, that's always been my biggest complaint, is the one-hit death kind of issue. Like, it really could use, like, a little leeway there. Is it broken there?
yeah. So on the steep slopes you see there, it gets broken.
It doesn't behave like the other versions.
It
I
really
guess.
does not, but it's very interesting to play it. So I wouldn't say it's the best playing one. It's the best looking one for sure. But because of these small changes, especially coming from a console like I have, it doesn't run as smoothly. Oh,
Nope, this doesn't work. Watch out. See?
That's those eggs, man. And then the cheese.
And then the cheese. This is pretty cheap right now.
Gotta defend my title here. The Bubsy community will come after me if I don't do well. If there's such a thing. I think there is. I think after our episode there became Bubsy Discord even.
What, you mean like Bob and Chris are gonna come after you? the Bubsy community.
That's so long.
All two of them.
So let's see here. So we got past that awful spot.
Yeah, it's weird how all the enemies update at a lower rate.
Yes.
I wonder, I guess that's just a performance saving technique.
Could be.
I suspect it is.
They also fly up into the air when you beat them, and the console version just turns into like a cartoon, like dust.
So you so want to run down that hill, but the game is just like, no.
Yeah, it's not a good idea. So got another checkpoint there, so we're good.
It would have been, you know, in terms of gameplay, it actually might have been more interesting if they had kept the same resolution of the pixel art as the console version, but essentially display it at 640 by 480, so you essentially increase your view by 2x in each direction. So all the sprites would appear very small, but
Right.
you'd see a lot. That's actually how I think Jazz Jackrabbit 2 works.
Yeah, yeah.
Where it's designed for 320 by 240 or something as the base pixel res, but if you play it in really high resolutions, you see a whole lot of the level, and it looks a little bit weird, but it is neat to see it as well. It's like Total Annihilation strategy game,
Right.
where you can play it at obscene resolutions and just see the whole map. Except for those eggs, jeez.
The eggs are really the worst. Only 3 eggs though. Oh, you got me. Yeah, the good thing about Bubsy is that when you die, the enemies don't respawn, so you can.
Oh, you can sort of chip your way through it.
Yes. So.
That is true. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, it's good in this game, but is that good design? I don't know.
I mean, this is an exploration
That's true.
platformer, as the Japanese box art says.
Oh yeah. Man. And it is weird. We mentioned it before, but this version of Bubsy complete in box is very, very rare and
Yes.
expensive,
It's,
mostly.
yeah.
But also so is the Japanese Super Famicom version.
Yes, I have both, as you would expect, but Yeah, so the Super Bubsy, I can't say what the price is usually. Like, it's pretty up there now. I think Clint from LGR has a copy, and I have a copy, and I think we are the only two in this world that has a copy.
Well, it's funny, we were working on this episode, I think, and he did a video and mentioned it, or like tweeted about it, and I was like, there's another copy?
There's more?
They sold more than one? All right.
So, yeah.
Oh, you did it.
And Yamanako Bubsy Daiboken, the Japanese Famicom version, Super Famicom.
Yeah.
That usually goes for about 300-400, I think, in box. It's something like that.
Yeah.
In box.
In box. You can get the loose cart for cheap, but I think it has to do with them selling very few and disposing of the boxes and selling them like in a different
this is the thing
format.
about the Super Famicom or Japanese gaming is that they would sell cart-only copies at traders and stuff eventually, just to get inventory out. And so the cartridge for Bubsy in Japan isn't that expensive.
But the fully boxed, complete version.
I had to pay an arm and a leg to get that, and I got a
lot
lot
of looks. How do you play
looks.
Bubsy then?
Mm-hmm.
If you get rid of an arm and a leg, I mean.
How you would play it?
Yeah.
You find ways, interesting ways.
I see. Wow, the lack of smooth movement on the enemy sprites is really jarring here.
Yeah, I can't really get the pattern down here. I don't want to hit the other one, obviously, because I die. Ah,
this is stupid. They open up at the bottom there.
Yeah, I see.
That's really. I mean, that's like the worst spot for it too. Obviously intentional.
Go. Come on.
You really need that Bubsy air control.
You do. I mean, the glide is everything in this game. That's a tens. Oh, all right. So here we go. There we go. So we got the carnival level.
All right, we'll check out some of the next stage and then probably call it.
Oh, we could keep playing.
Or you want to try to go? You want to try to go all the way through?
Oh man, no, that's gonna take a while. But
let's see what we can get.
Let's see how far we get before. This Gravis pad is doing a number on my thumbs as well. So
yeah, that lovely D-pad. Should I get the screw?
That is a bit of a controversial statement right there.
Oh yeah. But should I get the screw and joystick for you?
Oh no, please do not.
Wow.
This level is very different from the console version in the sense that it has a lot more color.
This looks great.
Blue skies and I always liked the train levels, but they're very difficult.
Yeah, we mentioned Tiny Toons before. They sure love train and they love Old West stages.
Yes.
They always find ways to get those in. I just recently was playing through Sunset Riders in the Genesis again recently.
It's a very different game from the...
I realized that I actually really like that version a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
Much better. It always kind of had a bad reputation because it's not the arcade game, but as it actually really works well. It's more of like a stage-driven... Like the arcade game is very set-piece driven, where this one, the Genesis game, feels a little bit more, I guess you could almost say Contra-ish, but with that slower pace.
It's a better single-player experience, the Mega Drive game.
Yeah, it works. It's really fun. I like it a lot. It's a good game. I like them both. I mean, the Super NES one is obviously much closer to the arcade, and it's cool to have that. The Genesis version, which, like the Tiny Toons games, that only came out on Genesis and European Mega Drives, did not get a Japanese release. Just like, Tiny Toons, Buster's Hidden Treasure, another Konami game, and Animaniacs, the Sega version, another Konami game, no release in Japan.
Quite interesting. I mean, most of these are based on Western licenses, though.
That's true. I mean, that really just shows how big the Sega's machine was in the West at that point.
Yeah.
The Konami is like, well, there's no point in releasing this in Japan.
They released the Turtles games on Mega Drive.
They did. And
Return of Shredder.
They did that in Japan, and they did Contra and obviously Castlevania, or
Ah, yeah, you're right.
So those are, yeah. So I mean, they definitely put stuff out there, but whoa.
Yeah, different transition from the console as well. Usually jump off.
He just ran down.
He just ran off the train.
Okay.
Immediately. So yeah.
Scratching a quick cat. Okay.
And these Western stages have like the train level and then the desert levels. They're different from any other level in this game.
That's right.
So
Gotta get that.
oh,
That thing. That's hideous.
yeah, it's not pretty. Changing cat box.
In a game where you die so easily, these extra loading screens do add some tedium.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad,
compared to
but
today. Yeah,
it's a lot slower than the console version. Though.
yeah. Get something secret down there. Got checkpoint early. That's way early. Yeah, it's interesting how blue this level is now. Oh yeah, the gun tooting.
Yeah, I can't remember what color was this.
Oh, it's very yellowish.
Yeah, that's
just
right. It was like,
kinda
it's supposed to be like sunset kind of color,
Yeah.
I guess. But it was just kind of washed out yellow. This looks much more visually appealing.
I have to say the music though, not great conversions on this game.
Yeah, I mean they're just like second-rate MIDI, general
Yeah.
MIDI conversions. They're fine, but it doesn't sound special. The thing is, though, is there's also CD audio on the disc of the MIDI tracks,
Yes, of the MIDI
recorded on, I
tracks.
guess, a better quality MIDI output device, but they also sound poor. It's like, why even bother with CD audio? Not that the game uses it for most of the tracks, just the title screen mainly.
Oh,
Of course that kills you. Of course.
the cactus. Testing disc
I
performance.
love how they use that Windows 3.1 Starfield screensaver
Yes.
between levels. It's great.
It certainly gets its time to shine in this game, as most people will probably die way more than I am. Oh, I could have just done that the whole time.
Thank you, Bubsy. Thank you, Turok. Channeling some Alex.
I wish Alex was here right now, as always.
Yes, this is in the PC, so...
That is right. We would have a reason to have him on.
Oh, look how they... Oh,
Oh man!
Oh, that
it
was-
dropped an egg.
it dropped eggs and it's... Oh, man.
Please release me.
Please. Okay. Here we go again.
These rocks also.
Oh,
Come
look
on.
at... That's an awful enemy. This game is masochistic, I think. It's here to make people upset.
Oh, I get pretty happy when I play Bubsy.
Good, you're good at it. Fairly. You're like the world heavyweight champion of Bubsy, right?
Yes.
And you're still dying.
Hey, like,
You're doing better at this than I did at Messiah.
that is true, which we played earlier today. It's been a retro game, PC game week for us.
That's right.
So, I keep saying this every time we do Let's Plays, just so people are aware, but we tend to do these Let's Plays in between producing bigger episodes
Yeah,
when I'm
the
around.
big episodes take a lot of time.
I hope people enjoy Mortal Kombat.
No, I know. I hope so. And we have some cool, some other ideas, of course.
As always. Too many ideas.
Yeah, there's too many, but there's some cool stuff in the works. Just got to find the time to be able to sit down and do it.
Yeah. So going to the next train stage here. I kind of like that coin there. Wish they made a real life coin that I could own.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Did you see that plushie that went up on eBay a while ago?
I did. It's over 1,000 or something.
Yeah, I think it was like $400. It was a promotional copy. I know at CES back in the day, someone walked around with a Bubsy suit on, like a full suit.
Oh wow,
I-
kind of
I-
like Punky Skunk,
I'm putting it out there right now
Coolie Skunk.
that I would like to own both the Alfred Chicken and Bubsy one suits. So if anyone has them out there and is willing to donate them to me, I'll wear them every day. I won't even wear anything underneath it. I'll just wear that.
Well, you just kind of shot your chances at getting it donated, I think.
Or I
Well
increase them by a lot, depending on who has them.
Oh my goodness.
It's actually Richard that has them.
Well, he does have that Mortal Kombat champagne.
He drinks it while wearing the Alfred Chicken suit.
Oh no.
It was Richard all along. I like to see Richard play Alfred Chicken.
Really? I would too, actually.
I mean, The legend himself playing the legendary Alfred Chicken.
You have every version of that now, right?
Almost. I am
What are you missing?
missing Super Alfred Chicken. See, I don't even want them, but people started sending me Alfred Chicken stuff because of you. I have to
You
explain
have
this
the
to my
Amiga
parents.
CD32 version?
Yes, I do, in shrink wrap.
Oh.
Someone sent that to me.
I mean,
This
that's
person
how-
never opened it.
That's how most CD32 games come, though.
Yeah, unopened.
It's like the Lynx, where
Just bad.
most games for the Lynx are still like brand new, old stock that was never
Right.
sold. I like the Lynx though.
That was a super play right there.
That was some expert Bubsy action. Are you sure you're not a computer playing this game?
Just an
Is
AI.
Is this a TAS tool system?
Or BO.
Oh man.
Alright, so this jumps up and down.
Look, and it gets choppy and he runs out. Like,
it's
why would you do
strange.
that?
Why wouldn't he just jump off like in the...
That almost seems like it's broken.
There's a lot of things in this game that seems like it's broken.
Look at that face.
He's just as annoyed. Like, so I like
Developed
the
by
stage,
ATI.
but- yeah, isn't that strange? You should probably explain a bit like, how weird that is. Oh,
I mean, we talked about it already, but it's like,
my brain is dying from this. But yeah, you did mention at the beginning that was.
I mean,
okay.
people complain about GameWorks from NVIDIA stuff, right? Already, like,
Right.
oh no, Hairworks. Now, imagine a game where it's like, game brought to you by AMD or NVIDIA.
So, who was ATI at this point? Though?
Oh, right. So, I mean, now people know them as AMD because AMD, the processor manufacturing company, purchased them back then, but ATI was a graphics card manufacturer.
Yeah.
They produced a lot of cards for a long time. And pretty good cards. And they also had the All-in-Wonder series, which was known for all the video capture options that it had. It was a really nice kind of card. Their 3D work, though, back in the day, during the 90s, was never that great. The Rage series of cards are fine, but they were not exceptional. Obviously, 3DFX Voodoo ruled the roost. NVIDIA started to come up with the TNT line. And, you know, ATI cards were fine, but nothing exceptional, basically. Until, I guess... For me, the moment I remember ATI really taking off was with the Radeon 9700 Pro, which I purchased back in the day.
What was that?
That's an amazing card. I think that was around 2003 or so.
All right, so a while after this.
It supported a shader model 2.0, and I think it was DX9 capable at the time. It must have been.
Was it Bubsy, Super Bubsy capable?
You know, I wonder. I still have that card
Still have
upstairs,
it?
and I could use it in this machine, even though this Pentium 3 machine is well before the time of the 9700.
I wonder if it has like a little asterisk on each ATI card, Super Bubsy compatible.
So I guess what's interesting, people may have noticed the ATI badge on Nintendo GameCube systems,
Yeah.
but that's only because ATI had basically merged or purchased, I guess, ArtX it was, that was developing the graphics hardware for the GameCube. I think that's how it goes, if I recall from memory. And then because of that acquisition, you know, it was basically ATI hardware, if you will. And then, of course, ATI was eventually acquired by AMD, and now, you know, we know it as AMD graphics cards, the Radeon series.
So it's the
But
last
they
of the
need to bring back
transistors.
Ruby.
Ruby.
Yeah, it was like the 3D mascot for ATI cards. You know, 3D demos
Bring back Polygon Man as well.
from the PlayStation mascot.
Yes.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, the mascots. A lot of people keep sending me also like messages about different mascots from different eras. I'm not so much of a mascot guy. I like Bubsy. I don't like Oscar, for example, on the Amiga at all.
You just pulled that one out of nowhere. Okay, Oscar. Let's talk about mascots. The first one you mentioned, besides Bubsy,
It's
was Oscar.
It's just, well, Brian the Lion is okay. Oscar is not that great. You mentioned Wonder Dog.
Awesome Possum.
Awesome Possum, which
Not awesome.
the Japanese release of that, it's worth quite a bit though.
Yeah, because it's a
I
Mega
don't see
Drive
it on your
game.
shelf,
And
though, John.
unfortunately, the Mega Drive Japanese games they're just expensive.
Yeah. But
And yeah, I will
oh
not.
man,
I
I
will
keep
not be
forgetting that
purchasing.
Eggman.
I will not be purchasing that for the Mega Drive.
Oh, I said that about the Alfred Chicken on the NES, but I still ended up with a copy.
Yeah, but it didn't cost you $200 or $300 to get it.
No, just my dignity.
Yes, exactly. Although Alfred Chicken in box on the NES is quite expensive.
Especially the NTSC version.
Yeah.
But that doesn't run in the proper speed though. It is a PAL game and it's meant for
50 hertz.
Yeah, it's same. It's a
The
great game on
ultimate game of
NES.
chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Look, we were just talking about all kinds of random stuff now because it's still Bubsy.
Oh,
What is going on?
those eggs just compel me to do stupid things.
Whoa.
I shall take the advice from the game though, and give the last chance. Here.
Dances with Woolies.
Dances with the
I get
Woolies.
this Costner references.
Almost Waterworld.
Oh man.
Yeah, so mascots, piece 98. What's your favorite color, John?
Blue.
Oh,
Like the
perfect,
sky.
like the sky in the stage right now.
Absolutely.
You know, when I was a kid, I have a pretty severe color blindness. So I didn't see
And
the
egg
color.
blindness,
And
apparently.
egg blindness.
Yes, you have color blindness?
Yeah, on shades of red and green.
I
Means
didn't
I can
realize
never
that.
become an operative for airplanes.
Oh, okay.
And my teacher told me this with a pretty grave voice, so I guess she felt I was going to become a pilot, but I knew I was not, so I didn't take this news as hard as she did.
So that's why you're a Bubsy fan.
Yeah.
Two completely unrelated things.
I just remember that message being like, you can never become an airplane pilot. And I was like, okay.
Okay, eggs.
Can I play?
Eggs.
Yes, okay, eggs.
Don't forget. Okay, here they are. Here they are.
Okay, he's gonna throw 3 eggs and then blow his nose. Okay. Whew. And there's a checkpoint. We're back into business.
We're in the Bubsy business.
Oh, more eggs. Okay, we're good. And this
So
game's gonna
those are
make
the
me hate.
Woolies. So
Yes, so, you know, Bubsy's kind of back these days. Okay. Bubsy's back these days, and,
he's been back several times.
yeah, well,
He keeps coming back. That's the thing.
well, he's a lovable little chap.
Whoa.
But the PS4 version, the Woolies, oh man, more eggs. I died twice,
That's
technically.
unbelievably cheap right there.
Checking disc volume, it's pretty loud. It's not really a pun or anything, it's just a statement. Alright.
Okay, we're gonna keep going. If you lose all your lives, then we're gonna have to end it.
Alright,
Will he make it to the next stage?
try.
Mm,
But yeah, the PS4 game is pretty good. Based on the Gianna Sisters engine.
oh yeah,
Music by Chris Hulsbeck, our dear friend.
excellent.
And Fabian Del Priore also did music
right.
for that.
The Extreme Assault duo.
That is correct.
There's this freaking eggs.
So 3 eggs, and I couldn't even get up. I have to jump on that thing.
Okay,
Oh, no momentum. You dumb.
this is absurd.
All right,
Well,
John.
I think we've done it.
We got halfway.
It wasn't quite a super play, but it was almost.
It was a
super.
Bubsy play.
It was a Bubsy play. So yeah, what do you think overall then?
I'm pretty happy to finally have played it, especially after you and I for 1 year now trying to get it to work.
Off and on, yeah.
Off and on, yes, not every day.
Not
for a year.
constantly trying to get this to work. It's my daily routine.
That's why. That's why I'm here all the time. No, it's interesting, and I think it plays quite well. I would play the Super Nintendo version above any so far, yeah, just keep supporting Bubsy. Get the news game, the Pulse of Fury, Pulse of Fire. I forget.
I don't know. It's a good thing this is not sponsored by Bubsy.
No, it's not sponsored by it at all. But do get the latest game. It's quite good. It's from a good team. So support Bubsy and support a good team.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of Let's Play Around with a Weird Old Game on the computer.
Is that what our series is called now?
Yes,
Let's play around with a weird old game.
And, you know, if you liked it, let us know. And yeah, we'll be back with some full-time, full production DF Retro episode at some point.
Absolutely.
And some other cool stuff. But yeah, for now, follow us over on Twitter. Give this thing a like, all that good stuff.
Stop sending me Alfred Chicken stuff.
Keep sending them Alfred Chicken stuff. And until next time, keep sending them Alfred Chicken stuff.